My name is Mira. I am 27 years old, and I live in a small town called Shivpur. It is a quiet Indian town where everyone knows everyone. The tea stalls are always crowded, aunties sit outside their houses in the evenings, and news spreads faster than the wind. If someone buys a new bike, the whole town knows by night. If someone has a secret, it never stays hidden for long. But I have a secret so heavy that sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night unable to breathe. I sit quietly in the dark, staring at the ceiling fan, asking myself the same question again and again. How did my life become like this? 2 years ago, my husband died in a terrible road accident. Everyone in Shivpur still remembers him as a kind and honest man. His name was Rohan. He worked as a mechanic in a small garage near the bus stand. He was calm, hardworking, and soft-spoken. Children loved him because he always smiled at them. Elderly people respected him because he helped everyone without expecting anything back. And honestly, they were right. Rohan truly was a good man. But there is something nobody knows. The little boy everyone calls Rohan's son is not really his child. The real father is Rohan's best friend. His name is Karan. Even today, thinking about it fills my heart with shame. Sometimes I wish I could go back in time and stop everything before it happened. I first met Rohan when I was 21 years old. At that time, I worked in a small bookstore and stationery shop near the college market. I loved that place. It smelled of chai, old books, and fresh paper. One rainy evening, Rohan walked into the shop looking confused. "Excuse me," he said shyly. "Can you help me choose a book for my mother?" That was the beginning of everything. After that day, he started visiting often. Sometimes he bought books. Sometimes he only came to talk to me for a few minutes. Slowly, we fell in love. 2 years later, we got married in a simple ceremony at a small garden beside the temple. There were marigold flowers everywhere, soft music, and smiling faces all around us. Standing beside Rohan that day was his closest friend, Karan. Unlike Rohan, Karan was loud, funny, and full of energy. He could make an entire room laugh in minutes. Rohan was calm like the moon. Karan was wild like fire. But they trusted each other like brothers. After marriage, life felt beautiful at first. Rohan worked at the garage while I continued working at the bookstore. At night, we cooked dinner together, watched Bollywood movies, and dreamed about our future. More than anything, we wanted a child. But month after month, nothing happened. At first, we stayed hopeful, but after 2 years, the silence inside our house became painful. Every time I saw a mother carrying her baby, my chest hurt a little. Rohan always comforted me. "One day we'll have our own child," he whispered whenever I cried. But slowly, he started spending more and more time at work. He wanted to save money for a better future. Soon, I started spending most evenings alone. I ate dinner alone. I watched television alone. Sometimes I fell asleep on the sofa before Rohan came home. I missed him deeply, but I never complained because I knew he was trying his best. Then, one night, everything changed. There was a terrible storm outside. Heavy rain crashed against the windows, and thunder shook the entire house. I have always been scared of storms. I called Rohan and begged him to come home early, but he sounded tired and stressed. "I can't leave tonight," he said. "There's too much work at the garage." After the call ended, I sat alone in the dark living room, feeling empty. Then, suddenly, the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I saw Karan standing outside in the rain. "I was nearby," he said softly. "I remembered you hate storms." At first, we only drank tea and talked. But that night, something inside me broke. Months of loneliness and sadness poured out of my heart. I cried in front of him. I told him how empty my life felt. And for the first time in months, someone truly listened. Karan comforted me gently. He told me I deserved happiness. He told me I was stronger than I thought. Then, in one terrible moment of weakness, he kissed me. And instead of stopping him, I kissed him back. The next morning, guilt crushed me. Karan looked shocked too. "This can never happen again," he said quietly. I agreed immediately. It was a mistake, a horrible mistake. 2 days later, my entire world collapsed. The police came to my house just before sunset. "There has been an accident," the officer said softly. A truck had hit Rohan's car on the highway. I still remember falling to the floor screaming. At the funeral, everyone cried. Karan cried harder than anyone. And inside me, guilt burned like fire because Rohan died without ever knowing the truth. A few weeks later, I started feeling sick every morning. At first, I thought it was because of stress and grief. But then one morning, my heart froze when I looked at the calendar. I was late. Very late. I secretly bought a pregnancy test from another town because I didn't want anyone to recognize me. When I saw the positive result, my hands started shaking. For years, Rohan and I had prayed for a baby. And now, after he was gone, I was finally pregnant. But when I counted the dates carefully, I realized something terrifying. The baby was not Rohan's. The baby belonged to Karan. I spent days crying and thinking. If people discovered the truth, they would hate me. Rohan's parents would be destroyed. The town would judge me forever. And Karan would carry unbearable guilt for the rest of his life. So finally, I made the hardest decision of my life. I told everyone the baby was Rohan's child. When Rohan's parents heard the news, they cried with happiness. Our son left a part of himself behind, Rohan's mother whispered while hugging me tightly. Her words pierced my heart like a knife, but I stayed silent. Even Karan believed the lie. When I told him I was pregnant, relief filled his eyes after I said the baby was Rohan's. "That's wonderful," he whispered emotionally. During my pregnancy, Karan helped me with everything. He repaired broken things around the house, carried heavy bags, and even painted the baby's room light blue. Sometimes I watched him quietly and wondered if deep inside he already suspected the truth. But he never asked. Months later, my son was born. The nurse placed him gently into my arms, and suddenly nothing else mattered. He was tiny, warm, and perfect. I named him Arav. Everyone smiled through tears. But when Karan held the baby for the first time, my heart almost stopped. My son had the same bright eyes and light brown hair as Karan. Exactly the same. For one long moment, Karan stared silently at the child. I thought he finally understood everything. But then, Rohan's mother smiled happily and said, "He has Rohan's smile." And the moment passed. Now, 2 years later, little Arav runs through the courtyard laughing happily. Karan still visits often. They play cricket together for hours like father and son, without knowing the full truth. Sometimes I stand near the kitchen window, watching them, and wonder if secrets can stay hidden forever. At night, after my son falls asleep, I still look at Rohan's photograph beside my bed. And every time, I whisper the same words. I'm sorry. I made one terrible mistake during the loneliest moment of my life. But I promise I will spend the rest of my life loving this child with all my heart. Because maybe family is not only about blood. Maybe family is about love, sacrifice, forgiveness, and the people who choose to stay beside us even after everything falls apart.
If you enjoyed this emotional English story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories to improve your English every day.